Let me see. Got
Hey
it.
girl, hey. On today's episode, Wealth and Wellness segment, we are talking with the founder of Ladies of Leisure LOL Wines. Thank you so much, Nevena, for joining us on today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I am a huge wine lover. So I was thoroughly excited to have you. You were also a speaker at our All Women Rock Entrepreneur Summit. So just to be able to have
Yeah.
a conversation with you to learn more about you, about your brand, about why you wanted to dive into this industry. So I'm really, really excited about
Yeah, me
this one.
too.
So how long have you guys been in business?
So we launched this summer. We
Okay.
launched in June. So it's been what, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 7 months. 7 months we've
Wow.
been
Wow.
around. Yeah. Yeah.
That's great though. Even, starting a business during I don't know if you want to say during the pandemic or whatever, because it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. So that's major.
Yeah.
That's a major accomplishment.
It was kind of crazy. I mean, I had the idea, before the pandemic, and I had started doing some research and some work on it, but it really came together during the pandemic, which is a little crazy. I actually met my now business partner, I think in April 2020. I just like out of the blue emailed them because they were um a wine producer and exporter to Europe and to Asia, and I wanted to work with them so they could produce the wine for me. And we got to talking, and then eventually we decided to partner up. And then during the height of the pandemic, I started working on like actually building and launching Ladies of Leisure. So it was
What made
crazy,
you
but it
come
was
up with the
good.
name?
Okay, so my friends and I, we used to do these Ladies of Leisure weekends out in Long Island where I grew up. So these are usually my high school friends, and we kind of get together, hang out, and just drink wine and relax. And so it kind of stayed with me. We do these Ladies of Leisure weekends. So when I wanted to launch wine, I was like, I'm going to call it Ladies of Leisure because I associate wine with something you do when you're relaxing on weekends at night. To me, it's a leisure activity.
Mhm. It is. It truly, truly is. That was one of the reasons why I actually started drinking, because I'm like, I just want to unwind. Certain liquors that I would drink because I really like brown, or at first I was drinking like white liquor or clear,
Oh,
whatever you
yeah.
want to call it. And I
Yeah.
just didn't like the feeling, but it was just like, I need to wind down. Being a mother, entrepreneur, everything else, sometimes you just need to be able to relax. And wine actually, does that for me. I'll say it probably 12 times on this episode. I'm a huge wine lover, and
Yeah.
I'm always just interested in learning about the different, I think it's called like the varietals of it, how long it's been aging. I'm a I like I didn't used to like dry, but
Hmm.
I love dry now. I used to like the sweet red when I first started drinking. So
Yeah, I
yep.
love dry too. I think, yeah, same for me when I initially started drinking wine, when I didn't know what I liked. I think
Right.
I gravitated more towards the sweeter ones. They were, easier to drink. But then as like
Mhm.
you drink some more, your palate changes, you kind of realize what you like. Or if you've had some like, pretty decent wine, then you kind of go back to what you used to drink. You're like, oh no.
Yeah.
At least that's what happened to me. I was like, no,
Yeah.
I cannot do sweet anymore.
Yeah. That actually
Yeah.
happened to me recently over the holiday weekend. We were at my husband's aunt house, and I know she loves sweet red, and she was like, "You want some wine?" I was like, "No, thank you." And she was like, "Why you want any wine?" I was like, "I don't drink. I love red, but it just tastes like juice to me. I just prefer something
Yeah, exactly.
more dry."
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like dry, I like, full body, I like tannins.
Hmm.
I like lots of flavor, especially with the whites. I like it when they're like crispy,
Hmm.
but nothing sweet. It just ruins it.
Yeah. What do you enjoy pairing wines with?
Oh, in terms of food or in terms of
Yeah.
activities?
Food.
It honestly, I drink wine with pretty much anything. Like I like to drink it when I'm cooking.
Hmm.
Um, but of course, every time I eat cheese or have a charcuterie board, I like to have a glass of wine. Um, Even sometimes with dessert, I'll have dessert and I'll have like a dry rosé. Like I'll have
Mhm,
0 F's given because I kind of like the counterbalance of like having something really sweet and then having something that's kind of dry. So
mhm.
it really, I mean, like I said, I pretty much drink it with anything and I will drink the wine that I'm in the mood for. So like, sometimes they say like, "Oh, white goes with fish," and I think they're absolutely right and it's 100% true, but like the way I feel about it, it's whatever I'm in the mood for.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how I like to do it.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. I like to do it. I'm not a huge cheese lover, but for some reason I hate washing dishes. So to help my mind relax as I wash the dishes, sometimes I'll pick up a glass of wine to kind of like get myself mentally prepared. I know it's not that big of a process, but for me, it just helps
Yeah,
me
it's
be
just
able to feel better about washing dishes.
yeah, I mean, if it's something that you don't really enjoy, like why not have a glass of wine that you do
Right,
enjoy
right, exactly.
and then make it easier. Yeah, I do the same thing whenever I have to do like I don't know, some sort of a chore, something that I don't wanna do. I like to have a glass of wine because it just makes
Mhm.
it more enjoyable, more fun. I feel more relaxed.
Yeah.
I like the warm feeling that it gives you when you have, like, half a glass of wine, you feel like that what I call
Mhm.
the internal sweater, especially in the winter when you kinda, like, warm up. I love that.
Yep. Same here.
Oh.
So you mentioned zero else given. Is that one of the wines that you have with Ladies of Leisure?
Yeah, so 0 F's given is the rosé. We also have a white, which is 100% Sauvignon Blanc, and that one's called Sexy Sauve. And then we have a red blend, which is called Racy Red. So these are the three wines that we have right now. At some point in the future, I would love to do a bubbly, but we're just not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna have to try that one. Ladies, I do want to mention that this with the podcast, I am going to try two of the different wines that was sent to me from the Ladies of Leisure. So I'm gonna try them while we're doing the podcast.
Ooh, yeah.
If you are listening to it, you also have the opportunity to head over to YouTube to watch it so you can kind of see it too. We're gonna do a giveaway as well. So we'll give details about that later. But we're gonna do a little wine tasting on today's podcast.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So, where did you grow up?
Okay, so I was originally born in Bulgaria and I was living there until the age of 9 when my family and I moved to Long Island. So the rest of the time I was on Long Island. And I would say both in Bulgaria, my grandparents made wine. So I feel like that kind of stayed with me. And then moving to the North Fork of Long Island, it's wine country out there. So I basically grew up around vineyards and grapes and wine. So I think those 2 things really played a part in me starting a wine company right now.
Mhm. Yeah, most definitely. I'm sure they had a huge impact on you. Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have a younger brother.
Okay, so
He's
it's
2
just
years
you.
younger. Yep,
Oh.
2 years younger and a pain in the ass.
I have a younger brother, but he's like, actually, today is his birthday. That's amazing. He's
Oh,
15. Yep.
oh, well, happy birthday to
Yep.
him.
I have a younger brother as well. So, I wanted to know more about like as far as you starting the your brand with Ladies of Leisure. Like, how was their process? Was it difficult for you?
It was so I have a fashion design background, so, the way I started was first doing the graphics, coming up with the names, kind of like what I would call the fun stuff, the stuff that I really enjoy doing, and then I started just doing research. I was kind of already aware of what was going on, but I really wanted to see if the market that I wanted to target drank wine. I just kind of wanted to go and see if my assumptions were right or if they were wrong. So I did a lot of market research. I kind of started putting all my thoughts together of how I wanted the company to be, what I wanted the brand to look like. So I did a lot of work on um, coming up with the brand narrative, what the company stood for. So I would say in total that took about 6 months to do. Um, and the harder part was figuring out how to actually launch it. So to get financing, what it would take, how much money it would take. So I spent maybe another 6 months working on the projections and coming up with the financial analysis and coming up with the financial model, um, and kind of refining it. So in order for me to do all that, I had to talk to a lot of suppliers, get a lot of costs. Initially, we were going to launch with cans, so I did a lot of research on cans and all the costing, and then we ended up going with bottles as the beginning. And since I'm not a finance person, it definitely took me a little bit longer to figure out how to structure everything. It was a lot of trial and error. Um, it was a lot of doing research on how to do all this stuff too. So I was kind
Mhm.
of learning as I went along, but it was really good because at the end it kind of gave me an idea, okay, how much money would I need to actually launch this? And I was a little more ambitious. I wanted to do like 6 wines total because I had like 6 different names that I wanted to try out. But it was nice because then when I started having conversations with people, it was easier to answer their questions. It was easier to kind of have, I don't want to say an intelligent conversation, but a more focused and real conversation where we could actually talk numbers and put some figures down and really figure out like how much it would take to launch it. And I think that was really one of the most important things that I did, um, because it really gave me a lot of clarity, which I didn't have before. And even though like it was really scary to see the number on the page that I needed to launch it, it was also nice to have it. And it was nice to go through the entire process because I feel like maybe in the future I won't have to do all that stuff again. But it was nice to know that I had this like I had this number down. I knew what the costs were. I could have a conversation. It wasn't just me going out there being like, "Oh, I want to launch this brand," which, a little bit of it was that, but then I can also be like, "And this is how much I need, and this is how much wine we want to make, and this is how much, a gallon of wine or a ton of grape is going to cost me, and this is where I want to source it from, and here's a few options." So it was just easier to kind of have those conversations and start the process of actually like launching it and taking it off ground.
Mhm.
And then, initially I wanted to hire everybody. I wanted to hire a winemaker. I was talking to them. And then of course the pandemic hit and I was just like, you know what, this is too much for me to like figure out right now and do everything. And so I decided to go the other route and talk to um, private label winemakers, the people that will make the wine for you, but they won't put their labels on there. You can put your own label on it, and they would work with you to kind of make the wine you want. So it was still working with a winemaker. It was just working with someone through an established company. And so I found a few companies out in California. I emailed a few people, and that's kind of how I found my business partner. And so it was so much easier to launch with them because they had the experience. They already had a strong relationship with the winery. They had strong sourcing connections, and that was another issue because, especially for the rosé with the fires out in California, it really presented a challenge to find rosé last year because a lot of the grapes were smoke tainted. So even though the fire
Mm.
didn't reach Sonoma, all those grapes were basically ruined from the smoke, so they couldn't be used. So there was a very serious rosé shortage. So it was just easier for me to not have to handle all of that and to have someone who was in the industry and knew about the different types of wine and knew about wineries and the wine industry, particularly in California, to kind of help sort everything out. Um, and so that's kind of how it all came together.
Wow. So your wine is actually produced, or I guess the right word would be made in California.
Yes, everything is
Okay.
it's California grapes and it's made in California. Yep.
Wow. Wow. All right. So what would you say with your different wines? Which ones would you say were like you guys like top sellers?
I would say zero F's given right now. And I think it's because of the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was really interested when you mentioned. I'm like, wait a minute, what you say the name of
Yeah.
that is? So I'm interested in trying that one as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I will definitely send it to you. We're sold out, so we have to bottle some more.
Yeah.
So once we do that, I will definitely send it to you.
So
Initially, I wanted to spell out the entire word, like Fuck, but then I was like, "Oh, maybe it's a little too much." Just like, people get the 0 Fs.
yeah,
So it
we get
yeah, it's a little
it.
bit lighter. It's a little bit lighter. And that's kind of what I found too, is like initially what I wanted to do with the labels, the designs. There was a lot more going on with the labels. And then I talked to some people and they're like, it might be a good idea to kind of streamline everything and almost make it like one collection. So because I come from fashion, the way I think of my wine is these 3 initial wines, the Sexy Soft, the Zero F's Given, and the Racy Red. They have kind of like a particular look, so I think of them as, like, the core collection, and then maybe any other wines we do in the future could be a little bit more of like a drop or, almost like a spring 2023 or fall 2024, like
Mhm.
that kind of thing, and give them different designs and kind of do some different stuff with them. But this to me is the core collection.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I was when I opened the box, I was like, oh, I like it because I've done marketing, I've done social media marketing. So like words, font, and
Mhm.
different colors are always like certain things that immediately catch my attention.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you should have seen my earlier ones, and I was like, "What was I thinking?" They were like all over the place, and I had to think about that too. It's like, how do I streamline it? How do I, like just make it a little more coherent?
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm so happy that you like them.
Yep. Um, with the marketing, does the company that you work with, do they do that, or is that like kind of left up to you?
That's mostly me. I handle the marketing, the branding, and so now my focus is definitely marketing, and getting the brand out there. Obviously, we're unknown, so it's been a little bit harder than I actually thought it was going to be. So I'm just trying to like put some processes in place, figure out how to streamline things. Like I feel like I'm just kind of almost going back to square one, like kind of trying to outline everything and figure out how to do it, except for
Hmm.
this like particular portion of just marketing the wine and connecting with people. And then also figuring out if we should stay direct to consumer, which is what we are right now. We only sell through the website, or whether we should expand and try and go into stores. It's there, I thought they were going to be like easy, kind of like easy things to answer, and they're so not easy things to
Wow.
answer.
Wow.
And
I'm sure
especially
it is
because
difficult.
yeah, and especially because it's wine, so it's there's a lot of licenses that you need. It's a very regulated industry. So that's really different. That's not something that I was used to dealing with. And it can be a big obstacle depending on, which way you want to go, and all the laws are so fragmented, like everything is very different state by state. So there's no like real one cohesive way of doing things. So, if you want to sell into each and every state, we need like 50 permits for each state instead of like
Wow.
one general one. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff in just in figuring out the right licenses. And so that's why I'm happy I have a partner that can kind of handle that, and they're more knowledgeable about that than
Mhm.
than me, obviously.
So would you say that as far as like getting the products like in the stores or possibly like in restaurants, is that process like very long and drawn out, or how does that work?
It's well, first you need to get a license, and then you might have to talk to a distributor, or if you want to self-distribute, you have to get a different license. And the thing with distributors is it's tricky because if like we're a small unknown brand and we're basically competing with everybody else in our portfolio, um, so for them it's easier to market like let's say a much bigger brand because that bigger brand is already better known. People will naturally gravitate to it because they know what it is. So it's very risky for them to take us on And then for us, we'd have to basically focus and do a lot of work in marketing and making sure that we're getting it out there because we want them to continue to distribute us. So
Mhm.
it feels a little bit like a catch 22. And then it's also figuring out like what territory do we want to start with. So maybe like I'm in New York, so you might want to start with just New York City or maybe just the tri-state area, or maybe just the state. And there's different distributors that distribute in different parts of the city, the tri-state area or just the state itself. So figuring out who to work with there is another kind of process. And then also, let's say we figured everything out, then it's like trying to get meetings with them and presenting the brand to them and getting them to sign on and to get behind the brand. Like the I feel like that's like the third leg of the entire process. So there's a
Mhm.
lot that kind of has to come together, and it takes time, it takes energy, and that's why we're kind of exploring to see if it's even the right option at the moment. Maybe we just focus on marketing it and focus on selling from the website directly because it's easier for us to sell in the entire country, or 40 44 states that we can
Mhm.
ship to. So it's a lot of those kinds of, I want to say, unsexy decisions
Yeah.
that we have to
Yeah.
make.
Yeah. I understand it wholeheartedly. Are you familiar with the brand? I just want to see if you guys have possibly thought about this area. Are you familiar with the brand like Wine Shop at Home?
No, I never heard of it.
Yeah, I was previously a wine consultant with them, and you basically have like wine consultants that go to people homes that do wine tasting. So, say for instance, you're able to ship to Tennessee, and I say that I'm a wine consultant for Ladies of Leisure. What I would do
Mm,
is have a friend and reach out to her and say, "Hey, would you be interested in doing a wine tasting at your home?" And they say, "Yeah." They bring their girlfriends together. We get they get different foods together. Of course, women enjoy wine, and you
mhm,
I would come up and present the different wines and talk about the wines and what they can pair them with. At the end, they make their purchases. And if someone is interested in hosting a their own
mhm.
wine tasting party, they're gifted with a free bottle of wine, and the process just continues to go that way.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, it's very neat. That I was just kind of thinking of that as you was talking about like the different barriers with the different being able to do it with different stores and all of that. I was like, that would be a great way since you already are licensed in those states. Just because if you think that's kind of similar to the model that I've done with All Women Rock Global, with me having managing directors in different cities. So I've
Mhm,
done created and host events. So All Women Rock Global, we create events for we have managing directors that do events in DC, Miami, Memphis, Charleston, Jacksonville. So just being
wow.
able to branch it out that way, and you guys go out and share the brand and get more people interested in it. So that's how I've kind of done mine.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great idea. Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's
Yeah. That's
I'm gonna
just
add that
something
to
you
the
can
list.
consider.
Yeah, no,
That's
that's
something that
that's
you can
amazing.
consider. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
have you
it's I was gonna say it's very similar to just doing like affiliate marketing,
hmm
except it's more personable and it's more
hmm
fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun being able to do it, but my passion was so much. I loved it because I absolutely love marketing, and then being able to go to different people and talking about wines. Ladies absolutely love like doing a wine tasting and getting their friends together, taking pictures and selfies, and then you tell them, "Hey, if you do one, you get you a free bottle of wine," and the process just continues that way, just getting your brand out.
Wow, I love that's such a
Mhm.
great idea. I will definitely look
Yep.
into that.
Yep.
I
It's
love
really,
that.
really, in fact, if you want to, we can talk off because
We're
like I said, I
definitely
love marketing. I can give you, yeah, we can talk more about
yes.
that in depth.
We're definitely gonna talk more about this.
Are there wine memberships available with Ladies of Leisure?
Like monthly clubs? Yes,
Mhm.
yes. We have three clubs. Let me tell you what What they are, we haven't, obviously, we haven't really promoted it yet. It's kind of been on the back burner, but it's definitely something that I wanna do. So, basically, we have, a 3-bottle delivery every month. You know, you can do 6 bottles every quarter, or you can do a full case every quarter. Um, and it would
Okay.
be a mix of, you can get only, um one, so, like, if you just like rosé, you can get a case of rosé. If you like a 3, you can mix it up. So yeah, we definitely have that on the website. Anyone can sign up. We haven't really started promoting it yet, and that's another thing that I wanna do for 2022. I'm gonna
Hmm.
add that one to the list.
Yeah. Yeah. It will come. Will there be like brand ambassadors that you guys have with, have you thought about that?
We don't have any yet. I have thought about it a little bit. It just I haven't gotten a chance to actually, like, dive deep and figure out how to go about it and kinda create that plan. But that's
Hmm.
definitely something that I wanna explore too, because I wanna get it out as organically as possible. I think word of mouth is one of the best ways to market things. I personally trust my friends when they give me recommendations, so I feel like other people are the same way, and it's better than coming from, like, a Facebook ad or,
Hmm.
something along those lines.
Hmm.
Um, but
It
yeah,
does
that's
make it
definitely
more
something I can look in.
personable when you have someone, because a lot of these influencers and brand ambassadors have such a genuine relationship with their audience. So just being able to connect with them and then have them share their experience with it, it does make it more personable.
Yeah, yeah, and I like exactly, I like the idea of, it can't always be in person either. We can just, like, hang out, talk about something, but I love the idea of doing more things in person. Hopefully, when the pandemic
Hmm.
subsides a little bit, I'd love to do more in-person events,
Yeah.
and have people actually, like, taste it as we talk
Hmm.
about it.
Yep.
'Cause it's a little bit different. It gives it a different vibe when you can actually try the wine
Hmm.
in person.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Because I've went to a winery. My dad girlfriend's work. She works at a winery in Temecula, California. They have so
Mhm.
many different wineries out there, and just being able to, like, I drink wine all the time, but just being there, just like trying different wines is just, I promise it makes you feel better. It's like a different atmosphere.
It totally is, like, being in the winery, tasting the wine, being surrounded by the vineyards.
Hmm.
It completely changes my mood too. I'm just
Yeah.
like, "This is so fun. I feel so great. It's relaxing. It's fun." You're just, like, hanging out, drinking some wine, chatting it up. Like, it's really, really fun. It's one of
Yeah.
my favorite things to do. I don't obviously go wine tasting in California a lot because I'm on the East Coast,
Hmm.
but I do it out in Long Island whenever I'm there, usually in the summer, and it's so fun. It's so fun
Mm.
being in that atmosphere.
Yeah. You're exactly right. What
Yeah.
would you say makes your brand different?
Um, that's a great question. I think I would definitely the designs. Um, and kind of our motto is it's wine that looks good and tastes good. And that kind of came about from my personal experience when I used to buy wine based on labels, which, I still do. But I was always kind of disappointed when I would reach for the fun label and then the wine didn't taste so good. Like it just, I don't know, it wasn't as
Yeah.
fun. So I wanted to have fun labels, but then also have really good tasting wine. So when someone bought the wine and tried, and they were like, "Oh, this is actually pretty good. I like
Hmm.
this." Like that's kind of what I want to go for. Is like I almost want it to be like a surprise because I feel like so many times like fun labels don't have really good wine, and I feel like the industry maybe doesn't value the customer that shops based on labels, but like that's our customer. We want you to shop based on labels, and that's why we're creating fun labels.
Wow. I like that because it's very eye catching. Even when you go to your website and then when you get the wine, like I said, I love marketing, so anything like that immediately catches my attention. So yeah.
Well, I'm so happy. Yeah, and that was definitely the idea. And I feel like, my target audience is women. It's you, it's me, it's, my friends, it's your friends. And I don't have an age range because to me, these wines kind of span across, and I kind of like to base them more on mood. So like at the bottom, here I'll show you. At the bottom, and this is probably gonna come up differently. It's kind of hard to see. But anyway, our tagline is wine for this state of mind. So like
Mhm.
you can be in a 0 F given state of mind, and you can be 25, you can be 55. It doesn't really
Yep.
matter. It's a mood, it's an attitude, it's a feeling.
Yep.
And I feel like it can change from day to day. So like, one day or one night you're in that mood, the next night you're feeling sexy, you're having fun, maybe you open up a sexy sov. So it's more about kind of like the feeling that you have, what you want to express more than just opening a bottle of white and I'm just going to drink white because it costs, so much money, or because it was this label or this winery. Like to me, it's just more about how are you feeling in the moment when you want to drink a glass of wine, and what do you gravitate towards? Like what do you want to express for yourself? Like what do you want to convey and how do you want to feel?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
that's kind of what we're going for.
Yep. I agree. Now let's talk about your efforts with the nonprofit efforts with the Ladies of Leisure. As you were a speaker at the All Women Rock Entrepreneurs Summit, and I told you once before, your speech made me highly interested in being able to give back and support different areas that are meaningful to
Mhm.
my life. My sister was in the Air Force and she was killed shortly
Mm.
after she got back from Iraq by her husband due to the domestic violence. So that was one
Oh my god.
area that I was really interested and passionate about. Like I've always said, hey, I want to give back some kind of way, but it didn't really hit home for me until I listened to your story, your speech when you were talking about being able to give back. So can you share a little bit with that about us of how you guys are doing it with Ladies of Leisure?
Sure. So basically, we have 3 wines right now, and so we chose 3 nonprofits to give back to, and we donate 3% of each order to a nonprofit. So it's kind of like the 3-3-3. I kind of like the way that sounded. But the way we're doing it is, instead of like us deciding where to send your donation to, we want you to choose one of our kind of pre-approved nonprofits that we chose because they do really good work. It's something that I personally care about. I'm the one that chose them, so I'm not going to say we. I'm going to say I chose them because it's 3 areas that I really care about, and that is equality, it's the environment, and it's education. I feel like those 3 things are really important just going forward in the next 100 years. Like, I don't know what the world's gonna look like, but I feel like without having those 3 things kind of figured out, we're not really gonna I feel like we're not really gonna get anywhere as a human
Mhm.
race.
I agree.
Um, so each person might gravitate towards, um, one of the 3 nonprofits depending on what they're most interested in. And it could be, at the time of purchase, all of a sudden, like maybe something happened and they witnessed like the tornado that just went through Kentucky, and they're like, "Oh crap, climate change is real. Like I'm gonna donate to this environmental nonprofit." So basically, we let you choose where you want your donation to go to, because technically it's your money. So you get to
Mhm.
decide how you want to spend it. We appreciate you buying the wine, and then we also want to kind of make you feel good and find a way to do good. And that's kind of how we decided to do it. So at checkout, actually no, in the shop section when you're picking out the wine, we have 3 nonprofits, and you can kind of choose which one you want to donate to. So you kind of add it to the cart the way you would add the wine. And on the website, we have a whole page dedicated to the nonprofits. So you can go there, you can see which ones we're donating to, and then you can kind of read about each nonprofit. And then you can kind of we have like our own explanation of why we chose that nonprofit, and then kind of what they do, and who they're rated by. There's another nonprofit called Charity Watch that kind of rates charities based on how they use money and how much money they spend fundraising, and how much money goes towards the actual programs and that administration. So I chose ones that had like a high ratio of going to projects, and then a low ratio of spending money to raise other funds. So it's all on the website. And I also wanted to make it easy for people to see what these nonprofits were. I didn't want to just have a link and send it to the nonprofit's website. Like, I just wanted to give everyone a nice overview so it's easy for them to decide in that moment, not have to feel stressed out like they have to go now do other research and other work just to figure out. Or I didn't want them to be like, oh, whatever, like, I don't know what they are, I'll just choose whichever. Like, it's a nice little overview so they can kind of make a more informed decision and feel good about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. That's so true. Because when you, I think about that when it comes to certain things, like being able to give someone something and it doesn't cause them to be overwhelmed. Because as you know, when people are doing something, sometimes I'm like, forget it. I don't even want to do it because I'm feeling overwhelmed. So, but I
Hmm.
like that you guys offer that on the website to give the people that are purchasing your wines the opportunity to kind of see, okay, I'm passionate about that as well. Or they might see, something in their life might have been affected by that as well. So just being able to say, hey, not only am I purchasing wine, I'm being able to support and give back as well.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I see websites that have that support the 1% for the planet, and I think that's fantastic. But I don't actually know what 1% of the planet is. Like, I don't know what that organization does. I don't know where the 1% came from. I don't know like what their whole thing is. And so when I see that on other websites, I think it's great, but it doesn't give me anything. Like, I haven't
Mm-hmm.
learned anything. So that's what I wanted to do the exact opposite. I wanted to give an overview so people can leave like with a little bit of understanding of like what's going to happen with this donation and where it's going to go and
Mm-hmm.
what the nonprofit itself does.
Yeah. I think for me, I think as you're kind of explaining that, that's what makes for me is one of the things that draws me to Ladies of Leisure, being able to know I'm supporting that. So that for me, I feel like that makes it different. That makes it unique for me. For me
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
I know you gave your reason, but as a consumer,
Yeah,
that's like,
I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on that because, like, I haven't come across any wine
right.
companies specifically that are donating to causes. And I like to think that everybody likes to drink wine, so there's a lot
Yeah.
of good that we can do through just buying and drinking wine.
Yeah.
Um, and I love the idea of like giving back.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good thing, and I think there's so many crazy stuff going on in the world that we need
Hmm.
organizations that are working to kind of untangle all this crazy stuff
Right.
and make it a better world.
Right. Right. That is absolutely true. I love that about it. Like I said, it kind of had me so intrigued to do more. And I knowing that I can do more, just like it was like, yeah, I gotta stop saying it and actually make it happen for
Yeah.
myself. And just being able to support other women and yeah. It did something to me. So like I said, I greatly appreciate
Yeah, I'm
you
so
sharing that.
happy. I'm
Yep.
so happy you like that.
So we're gonna go ahead and do the tasting. I want to start with the was racy red.
Mhm.
Yeah, I want to start
Yes.
with that one first. Tasting that one. So I've already um taken the what do you call it? The
The
cork off
cork.
of it. Yeah, and put my
Very
wine
nice.
topper on it. So we can
So
start with
that
that one.
so while you're pouring that, I'll just tell everyone. So this blend is 85% Barbera grapes, it's 11% Zinfandel, and it's 4% Syrah.
Mm. I actually like Syrah. I learned about that with wine shop at home. I didn't really know much about it. So do we do so we can see the legs come down the
Yeah. Yeah, and
swirl
this
it?
one's a medium bodied wine, so it's not too heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's red cherry, there's blackberry aromas, there's a little bit of anise, like a hint of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a hint of dried cranberries. And then if if your palate is really like really attuned, which I'm gonna be honest, mine isn't that attuned, but there's just like a hint of leather. Hint of leather.
It's smooth. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
it is
very
very
smooth.
smooth.
Yeah, it is smooth.
Yeah, it's silky, it's a balanced flavor. Um, it's not too intense, it's not too there's not a lot of tannins, so it's not too kind of dry.
Hmm. It's not. I like that one. It's not very
Yeah.
dry, but it's very smooth.
Yeah.
And
And I wanted
I feel like I can smell the cherries in it as well.
yeah. And I wanted to make it I wanted to make it an easy wine to drink, so it kind of I know every palate is different, everybody likes different types of wine, but I wanted something that could be easy to drink kind of across the board.
Hmm.
And that's kind of what I was going for.
That one is
Yeah.
like I said, I've tried tons of wine, and that one's very smooth.
Yeah,
I
I'm so
love that
glad.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a smooth one.
I should have had my other glass out, but I don't. So I'm gonna pour it in the same one.
Do it.
But I love that one. So the next one that I'm gonna try, I haven't popped the cork on this one, but this one is the sexy soft.
The sexy sauve, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
I'm gonna try this one. So you want to share with us a little bit about this one?
Yeah, so this is 100% Sauvignon Blanc grapes. It has citrus tones, it has white peach and nectarine aromas. And it's very clean and it's very crisp. And the taste really builds. So like in the first one or two sips, you might not taste everything, but as you're sipping, like as you're having that glass of wine, you're really gonna taste the aromas. Like it really, really builds on itself.
Oh, and I'm excited to try this one.
I love the live uncorking.
I know. Yeah, let's see. I should have what is it? Did
Hey,
the
you made a
swirl.
rosé.
I know.
You made a light rosé. I like it.
Yeah, because they say when you swirl it, the aroma is more fragrant, like when you
Yeah.
first smell it, but then once you do it, you see the legs come down and then it's more
Yep.
fragrant. I like that one too. What did you say? Can you go over what was in this one?
Yeah, so that one is just 100% Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay.
Sauvignon Blanc grapes. And it has citrus aromas. And then it has peach and nectarine aromas kind of like underneath.
I like that one because for me personally, sometimes the Blanc ones that I've had kind of have like a dry, bitter taste to it. But this one doesn't. It doesn't have that one.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if
Yeah.
I drink some, it's like, oh, I need some water afterwards. But I don't get that one. Get that with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Again, I didn't want it to be, super intense, super
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
I wanted to keep it as palatable as possible. And it definitely I think like my favorite part is that like with each sip, it really builds. Like once you like even if you don't have to do it now, but like once you actually sit down and have like a glass, you'll notice how it just like keeps building and building.
Yeah. I like that one.
This
I
is
really like that one.
fun.
Yeah.
I should have gotten a glass for myself too.
Yeah, I really like that one too.
I'm so
Like I said,
happy.
normally with those, and I've once been told sometimes if they are too bitter, the Blanc ones, you can put like a lemon in it to help. But I don't get that with that one.
Good.
I
Oh, I
don't
didn't know
get that
that.
one.
I didn't know that trick. The
Yeah.
lemon trick. Oh,
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah. Sometimes if you go to, I was told when you go to like certain restaurants and you want a Blanc and they don't, if they give you one, it's just like, oh, it's too dry and bitter. You can put like a little splash of lemon in it, but it does.
Oh,
I have known it to help it, but I don't need that with this one.
oh. Well, I'm happy you don't need it, and it's a good tip to have.
Yeah.
You know what I always wonder in restaurants, like when you buy a bottle and they open it and they like let you taste it.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever sent a bottle back and you're like, no, I don't like it. I've never done
Haven't.
that.
I
I've never
haven't.
done that. I mean, usually it's because I usually like it, But I always
Yeah.
wonder about that, like, I don't know if even if I hated it, I don't know if I would
Right.
ever send a bottle back. I would feel bad. Like, they just opened it for me.
Mhm. You know what? I've been out to eat with someone that does that, that loves wine like me. And I was like, really? And she was like, I don't like it. And
A and
they
what
did change.
happened?
They ended up changing it out for her.
They
And
did?
but yeah, it felt awkward for me because I've never done that before. But to each his own. I'm very kind of,
Yeah.
I'll just, if you give me something, I don't really care for it. I'll be like, okay, whatever. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I have been with someone that has done that before.
Yeah. I've done that with, like, a glass of wine.
Yeah,
Like, if I really
but
didn't
not the
like it, I'd be
bottle.
like, but not a bottle, yeah. Because I feel like a glass is very different than, like, a full bottle that they just opened for you.
Right. Yep, I like this one. What's the percentage of alcohol on both of these?
These are about 13%.
Okay.
They're a little bit on the higher side, so,
Yeah,
you know,
this is
don't
very smooth. Both of these
yeah.
I am loving. I'm gonna have to give me a membership.
Yeah, so the Sexy Sauve is 13, and then, the Zero S Rosé is 12.50, and then the red is 12. So they're, they're all
Hmm.
pretty much,
Hmm.
between 12 and 13, which, like I said, is a little bit on the higher side.
Yeah. Yep. I like it.
So drink responsibly, everybody.
I know. I know. Please do. Please do.
Always
So,
drink responsibly.
yes, I am absolutely loving this. And I can't wait till you guys get the other one
The
back, the zero.
rosé.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I want to try that one. I'm interested in trying
exactly.
that one.
And then you know what? You can open up Zero F's, pour yourself a nice glass when you have to do the dishes and be like,
Yeah.
whatever, Zero F's. I can do it.
Yeah. This one is very, very good. I am, yeah. So this is definitely what's gonna, so I'm thinking about pairing this one with some fish later.
The white one, the Sexy
Mhm.
Sauve? Yeah,
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to take a picture and show everyone.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah. So you've kind of given us like the breakdown of how you've started and how you've launched your brand. Being a woman in an entrepreneur, it's very, very hard. And you say that you are also working full time. How do you balance like both of your job as well as, having a life as well as being a business owner?
It's it's definitely tricky. I mean, during the workday, I focus on my work, and then I'll work on Ladies of Leisure at night and on weekends usually. And then somewhere in between, I try to fit in having a life and
Hmm.
also relaxing, being
Yeah.
leisurely. But yeah, it's a tough balance, and it really it kind of changes week on week, and it honestly changes based on my personal state of mind. So if I'm feeling a little stressed, it's definitely harder to juggle everything. If I'm, feeling great, it's a lot easier. Um, and I try to take it on a day by day, weeknight by weeknight, week by week kind of basis.
Hmm.
And just try to keep my head above water. And sometimes
Hmm.
it's hard and sometimes it's easy. It very much depends.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. I know uh, exactly how the process is with balancing multiple things, a business on it. And sometimes just like, not today. I'm just not in the mood for anything on
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes things get pushed off to tomorrow or the next week. And I hate having to do it, but it does happen because there's other things that take priority. So, and that's life. Sometimes
Hmm.
things come out of the left field and you just have to take care of that before you take care of your business. And hopefully it's
Hmm.
not all the time, but it's we're living through a pandemic. It's
Yeah.
a weird world right now. So I like
Yeah.
to think that everybody's doing the best that they can
Hmm.
at all times.
Right. Because I like to say I can't pour from an empty cup to my family. I can't. Like if I'm not where I need to be, then I have a nasty attitude towards you guys. And it's just like I do need time to be able to get myself together. So if days just like, you know what, I'm not worried about the all woman rock brand, I'm just focusing on me, then that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, and I feel like that's so true. Like if exactly, like you have to be full in order to
Mhm,
like pour to others because if
mhm,
you're not, then when you're running on empty, like that doesn't benefit anybody. It doesn't benefit you, it doesn't benefit your family, your business.
mhm.
So yeah, you should everyone take care of yourselves.
Yeah,
Put yourselves first when you can. At least
yeah.
once a week.
I'm I'm still kinda, um
Yes,
I'm
cheers.
s I don't know if it's this is I'm really loving this, I'll say
I'm so happy. I'm so happy you're loving it.
that.
I love hearing that.
That yeah. I should have paired it with, something, while we did it, but I'm liking it. I
Well,
really, really like it.
you paired the red with the white.
Yeah, right.
That was a pairing.
So would it be safe to say for like what do you say like the goals for what can we expect for from Ladies of Leisure for 2022?
I've been thinking about that uh over the last like I want to say week. I've been really thinking about it. And I think my focus is to really focus on getting the brand out there and interacting with more people, maybe a one-on-one the way I'm doing with you. Um, I obviously want to grow it. Okay, I'm gonna tell all you guys my goal that I came up with that feels very scary to me. But I would love to do $1 million in sales for
Yes.
2022 with Ladies
Yes.
of Leisure. Oh God, that feels so scary
Speaking into
saying
existence,
it
I
out
love it.
loud.
Yes, yes, and that's how things come to. They end up coming out. Just say it out. Yeah, this is the
Yeah,
goal. This is what we want. We're projecting for Ladies of
yeah,
Leisure for next year. So,
yeah,
yep, speaking into existence.
exactly. That's first time I've said it. I came up with it last week. It just hit me. I was like, this is what I want to go for in
Yeah,
22. And
yeah,
it feels very scary. It feels very audacious, but I was like,
yeah.
I'm gonna have that be like my North Star and see how
Mm-hmm.
far I can get and
Mm-hmm.
whether I can do it. And I'm gonna plan on doing it.
Right.
Um,
Right. You will. You will. We
yeah.
have spoken to existence. We're going to do what's needed to get there. I want to talk to you more about marketing off air
Yeah.
for the brand because, like I said, I absolutely love marketing. I love wine. So, and I love sharing insight with women and showing them how that they can, add more value to their brand. So, I would
Yeah.
love to talk with you more about that. Like All Women Rock, Memphis Women Rock, we do the cocktails and conversations events that we do. When we do it here in Memphis, it always is huge. We have over 2,000 women interested. So I'm even thinking
What?
about different ways. Yeah, if you go to Facebook and go to Memphis Women Rock and you look at our events, you'll see that there's always over 2,000 people interested in our cocktail events. So
That's
I would love,
amazing.
yeah, I would love to talk to you more about how we can work together with Ladies of
Absolutely.
Leisure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, if there was one question that you, if there's one thing that you feel like that you would like to share with our listeners about the Ladies of Leisure brand, what would that be?
Try it.
Mm,
Try it. Try it and see
yeah,
for yourself.
yeah, yeah. It is good. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's good. Like I said, when I have a blanc, it's like I need to add something because my mouth is dry. I'm finna be very transparent with you. When I
Yeah.
saw it, I was like, typically when I drink one of those, my mouth get dry. So this is what I had on the side, like
Ah, look at you.
and
I
I didn't
like
even need it. I didn't even
it.
need it. So it's just like, yeah, I'm feeling it. I can tell I can feel the alcohol in it.
Yeah.
That's one. I'm just being honest with you. When I drink something, I don't want to have juice. If I'm gonna spend money on wine, I want to be able to relax and feel the effects of the alcohol, and I can
I'm the
definitely
I'm the
feel it
same
with
way.
those two.
I'm the same way. I honestly don't get the alcohol-free wine. I mean, I
Hmm.
get it. I get it because not everybody wants to drink and they wanna have that taste, and, I like that it's out there, but for me, it doesn't make sense to me. It
I
doesn't
don't
make
get that
sense to
one.
me.
I can't.
Yeah.
Because I've heard of like my uncle used to say that he would drink like alcohol free beer. I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah, because then you can have like, I don't know, seltzer water or like a soda or
Mhm.
something.
Right. Exactly. If I didn't want
Yeah,
any alcohol, but to each his own, I'm gonna leave it at that because I know some people
exactly.
might be like, "Hey, to each his
Exactly.
own."
No, no shade, no anything. Like I think it's good that it's out there. I think
Yeah.
I like that people have that as an option because you shouldn't drink if you don't want to. You shouldn't feel like you have to drink if you
Mhm.
don't want to. And you
Right.
should still be able to be social and
Right.
enjoy hanging out, but
Yeah.
not actually consuming alcohol. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think
Mhm.
it's a good thing.
Yeah. So I'm so excited for your brand to see what's next with Ladies of Leisure. Where can our listeners learn more about the brand if they're interested in purchasing some wine, a membership, or learning more about your nonprofit?
Definitely on our website. It's lolwines with an S at the end .com. Everything is on there. You can buy the wine. You can join our monthly club, and you can definitely read about the nonprofits. So yes, everybody go to www.lolwines.com.
Yes, and the links will be listed in the show notes as well as out on our YouTube channel. The links to Ladies of Leisure will be listed there as well. Thank you so much. I told you I might mess it up, but I'm gonna try my best. Navina,
Nevena.
Navena, thank you so much. I don't like to mess people's names if I want to get them right. Thank you so much for
You're
joining us
welcome.
today on our podcast.
And thank you so much for having me. It was so great. And I love doing the presentation that I did for all, what was it? What was the name of the summit? All Women Rock
The Entrepreneur
Summit.
Summit.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really amazing. And I'm so happy I got to meet you. And thank you for having me on your
Same
show.
here. Same here. Thank you so much.